You can study, you can learn, but the moment you start doing research, that's when you start to create new knowledge. And no, I don't mean Googling and calling it a day, or going on TikTok and searching up how do you toast bread and then saying, I saw that on TikTok or I saw that online. I mean, asking a question that maybe other people haven't even asked yet and then systematically finding the answer to it. That is what research is. And that is the next level beyond studying and beyond learning. When you Google, what is climate change? You are just finding facts. And that is step zero. Real research happens when the answer doesn't really exist yet. When you ask, how has my city's rising temperature changed bird migration in the last 20 years? That requires curiosity. It requires data. It's not a yes or no answer. It's not a definition. It is structured facts with also data points in it. That is the process of building knowledge, not just consuming the knowledge. The hardest part of research is not the mountains of data that you have to go through. It is really shaping the good question that actually builds your entire structure of the research itself. A bad question could be too broad and therefore really difficult for you to research on the topic. For example, what are the effects of social media? That is way too broad. In what sense are you looking at it? Are you looking at TikTok? Are you looking at YouTube? Are you looking at Instagram? And in what angle are you looking at it for? Is it for children? Is it for teenagers? Is it for young adults? Is it for boomers? Like, there's so many different angles that you can look at because it's so broad. So therefore, a good research question would be more focused, measurable, and open-ended. For example, how does short form video affect students' attention span during study sessions? It's more niche down and it's more specific to a particular part. So it forces you to think about still the same topic, but investigating on a niche part of it that actually matters the most, quote unquote. You can't just copy paste your way to an answer. You actually have to build on it. And when you are researching something, yes, you can get experiments that other people have done, but it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do your own research, because yes, you are. You are supposed to do your own experiments and then cross-check your results with other people's results and see if they match up. If they do, say why. If they don't, say why. So let's make this simple. Here's how every serious research process works, no matter what field you are in. Firstly, it's the literature review. So what is already known in public? Before you start, you want to look around. What do we already know? Dive into academic databases. You want to go to Google Scholar, JS Store, PubMed, Science Direct, whatever it is, and search up the topic that you're trying to look for and see if other people have done it already. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to join the cog. Step 2 is designing the method of how you will find the answer. So now you will start to plan. Will your method be quantitative, so it has numbers, calculations, surveys, experiments, or will it be more qualitative, which is looking at interviews? So surveys, again, that's possible as well, but case studies, observations, more word stuff, less calculation. You then need to decide how you'll gather the proof and why the approach makes sense as well. When you are writing your research paper, you have to say which one you choose and why you chose that. If you want to choose both, then give a reasoning for everything. Remember that when someone's reading your research paper, you're reading behind the thought process that you are having, but just a bit more summarized, of course, and organized. Now, step 3 is where you collect and analyze the data points. And this is where it starts to get real. It's where it gets fun, in my opinion. Once you run the survey, you collect the numbers, transcribe the interviews, analyze. You then look for the patterns, contradictions, meanings, and you want to discuss all of this later on. It is tedious, but it is where the curiosity becomes the evidence. So if you are saying that TikTok isn't very good for students ages 11 and below, you have to have proof of that. And that comes to step 4, drawing a conclusion. What did you learn from this? So you answer your own question carefully, and you need to say what the data actually says to you and how it relates to what other people have said. Good researchers build clarity and they admit their own limitations. I used to think that if I were to write a thesis paper and my paper was not the same results as what other people have done, I would consider my paper bad. But in reality, there's no good or bad paper because the results doesn't matter technically. What you discuss is what matters. If you get bad results compared to other people, you have to say why you think you got bad results. Is it because the catalyst you are using is kind of corroded or something like that? Like, you have to give a reason for everything. There's no right or wrong. It just depends on your reason. So number 5, communicate it and share the knowledge. And that's where the peer review comes in. After analyzing other people's results compared to yours, give your results to them and ask them to analyze it for you as well. And don't tell me that doing good research means that you have to be a smart person. It's more about being skeptical, organized, and curious. You want to be skeptical because you don't want to trust the first source that you see and just use that for your entire entire paper, because then basically you're going to be copy pasting and you don't have enough results in order to give evidence for your own results, your own research. It's like the same thing as like you trying to see if people like chicken wings as compared to burgers, but you're only asking one person. Obviously, that one person isn't collective to everyone that you see. Secondly, you want to be organized. Your research will bury you in tabs and PDFs, so you want to use a reference manager like Zotero or Mendeley. Label everything because the chaos will kill ideas. Then you want to be curious. Sometimes the answer is simply it's complicated, and really that's okay. Every new insight, no matter how small, moves the knowledge forward. Research is the engine behind every leap of progress. Every vaccine, every climate model, every algorithm, they are all done through research. It all started with someone asking a question that didn't really have an answer yet. And that is the key. Research is a structured skill. You can learn it, you can practice it, and you can apply it. And you can do this anywhere, even outside academia. With me already being graduated and have already completed my master's thesis, I still do research on a day-to-day basis because I find it fun and it keeps my brain sharp. If studying helps you perform and learning helps you understand, then research is what ties it all together and helps humanity advance. So here's my challenge to you. Think of one question that Google cannot answer with just one click. Obviously, you don't look at the AI recap for it, so just anything that Google can't answer with one click without the AI recap. And that will be your seed of research. Because progress doesn't come from people who can memorize facts, it comes from people who can say, hey, what if we don't know yet? And that is completely fine. That's the whole point of research. You will figure it out eventually. So keep thinking deeper, keep learning harder, and please do the research. Aside from that, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give me a like, a subscribe, and share it with your friends that you think may find it helpful as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!